Iburu, Iboya, Ibuche, everybody in Cyberland. It's your favorite Babalao, at least I hope so. Omodun, Odileke, coming at you with another video. Okay, this video is not going to necessarily fall within our episodic versions that we've been doing, right? But today's Thanksgiving in the United States of America, right? And a lot of reflection is needed when we talk about Thanksgiving and what are we giving thanks for and who are we giving thanks to. So I wanted to dedicate this video to each and every one of you that are out there in Cyberland. If you like this video, like I always tell you guys, give it the like, okay? But don't forget, share the good message. Share. Very important so that we can continue to spread the good word. All right. So without further ado, what I do want to talk about is Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving reminds me of a pataki in Iwori Mei that talks about when Orumila left Earth, Aye, right, in order to go back to Olorum. And the reason why comes out of a disrespect that was had between his children and him. The youngest of his children thought to be at the same status and the same level at him, to the point where he did not want to salute his father. He did not want to give Mufurebale to his father. Okay, so with that said, Orumila leaves. But when Orumila leaves, at that very moment, Eshu now becomes the gatekeeper of the messages of Orumila, right? Which is why the relationship between Orumila and Eshu is almost one and one. So with that said, let's reflect on that. In that pataki, you notice that a terrible event occurred. Orumila decided to leave and go back to Olorum, and it was because of the actions and the arrogance and the disrespect, okay, of one of his children. One of his god kids, one of his physical kids, it doesn't matter. But it was that disrespect. But with it came a blessing. Because now the children of Orumila come back to try to talk to Orumila, and Eshu's like, "What? Stop for a minute, let's chat this out." And at that very moment, Orumila tells them, from this day forward, you will communicate, okay? You will communicate through the Inkins and the tools that I give you to communicate with Ifa, which means you're communicating with me. You will now be representatives of me down on earth. So, blessing in disguise, is it not? So the disrespect given was not necessarily something that we want to celebrate, but we do want to look at the silver lining in things, right? And in that pataki, it begins to make me reflect. And for those who are my critical thinkers, Iwori Mei is the sign, and I did a video on Iwori Mei, look it up. And we talk about the logical thinker. We talk about the person who likes to critically think things, right? And in this story, you notice that it was this story that highlights that somebody was critically thinking, well, wait a minute, I got the same clothes, I got the same jewels, I got a kingdom like you, I walk like you, I talk like you, therefore, I don't need to bow down to you, whether you're my father or not. And that arrogance is what hurt that person in that story, what hurt humanity in that story. But with it, we were able to gain tools of Ifa and Babalaos, and the ceremony of Igbo are now created. But let's think about that a little bit more when we talk about the aspects of Iwori Mei. And when we look at the Odung of Iwori Mei, right, and we've talked about this before at certain points of time where we talk about Iwori is basically a circle, line, circle on both sides, right? Because we all understand that four segments, right? At a certain point in time, you can create 16 twins on a right leg and a left leg, right? So everything that has circle, line, circle, okay, on a right leg is Iwori. And Iwori's children, or Molus, are the ones that change up on this side. They're not the twins, right? So it's not Iwori Mei, but it's the other ones. And Thanksgiving begins to make me reflect on Iwori, right? Because I want to give thanks to who? I want to give thanks to Orumila. I want to thanks always. The first is Olodumare. Why we give thanks to Olodumare. And it begins to make you reflect on those who have your moyumbas, those who are learning your moyumba, and you begin to understand. You know, when we start to say moyumba Olodumare, moyumba tiyo, moyumba tiyo rum, moyumba ileo gerere. Right? You start to go down this moyumba, you start to give thanks every morning. Then we begin to kind of see that today is not necessarily a day of celebration, but it should be a day to remind us, to reflect that we have to walk humble. And Iwori Mei doesn't just teach us that, right? When we talk about Iwori Mei, we also talk about Iwori Obara, where we give thanks to Orumila again. We also have Iwori Okana, that tells us to always respect our mothers and always respect the mother of the faith, Yemoya, right? We also talk about Iwori Osa, which talk about Obatala, Osa, Obatala, Ogun, Orumila, Elegba. And you begin to kind of say, wow, there's a lot of thanks in this faith. So for a lot of people, they see this faith and they see a lot of complications. And this faith does have a lot of weird tangles, right? Of this weird spider web that is Ifa. But what are we giving thanks for is what I truly want you to remember. So I'm going to make it real simple. Real simple. Every morning before sunrise, you face the east and you give thanks to God. As the sun rises up and nurtures this world, we give thanks to God. The second thing, Olorun and the sun, right, are considered places and things. All right, Olorun, we give thanks to Olorun. We give thanks to Awa Olofin, because in the Afro-Cuban and Lukumi lineage, Awa Olofin is our governor that watches over this world. We give thanks to our Orisha Batori, for me Shango, okay? And with that said, I give thanks to him. I give thanks to who does Chango protect, which is my subconscious, which is my Ori. Give thanks to your Ori. Give thanks to Eshu always, because without the void, without creating the light out of that darkness is Eshu. Eshu, the enforcer. Eshu, the one that kind of begins to create an evolution of things in this world. So we have to give thanks, and we have to put, going full circle, Iwori Mei, the logical thinker, the critical thinker, we got to put it into reflection, not into necessarily a motivated, arrogant posture, because it will be that arrogance that will cause issues like Orumila going up. But Orumila, being wise, knew he couldn't just leave us, but he left us tools. And now it's going to be up to Ifa to save humanity, to give people purpose, to give people a destiny, to give people the way to go. So with that said, I want us to reflect. I want us to give thanks to the Eguns as well, because it's your ancestors that paved the way. It was those slaves that came across that did the heavy lifting so that we can continue to move on today at a lot easier pace. So give thanks to your ancestors. Give thanks to the divinities like I've mentioned. And now give thanks to the people in your lives. Your family, right? The ones that mean a damn. Your friends, the ones you can truly call friends. Your spiritual family, the ones that you understand you and don't discriminate against you. I give thanks to my Ile every day. I pray every day, and I give thanks to every single one of them. And I pray that Ire constantly comes to them. Because in this life, guys, in this life, if you haven't learned anything from Iwori Mei, everything is balanced. With bad comes good. With Ire comes Osolbo. And that's just the way life is. With richness comes Iku. Life, death, black, white. That's just the way our life is designed. And we must always remember that. And it's always better to give thanks than to ask for things. And if you do gotta ask for something, always ask for the big things, right? The love, the prosperity, the tranquility, the health, the blessings of all the divinities. And you can walk this earth feeling that much better. So with that said, Cyberland, always a beautiful moment to reach out to each and every one of you. Always a beautiful moment to share a pataki. Talk about the Iwori series, right? We talked about Iwori Mei. We talked about Iwori Obara, Iwori Okana, Iwori Osa. And we give thanks in those signs. And I want you to give thanks to them all. So with that said, Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche, Cyberland. Short, sweet, to the point. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. And with that said, you guys have a blessed one, Cyberland. Go Giants, because now it's about that time to go watch the game. And we're going to wish the Giants some luck.